Welcome back to WD MagicCast for the week of March 16th, 2025. This is the new format of WD MagicCast. Welcome to our YouTube version of the show. We are here in person. I have Dave with me today. Dave, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everybody.
What did I say last time? Hi, Dave. This is take two.
Yeah. At least we're recording now.
This time we're recording. Last time was a warm-up. Yeah, I hit the button last time, folks, and it did. Skype decided to do otherwise.
Yeah.
But this is why I guess Skype is going away, and we're not. We're back. Thank you for coming back and rejoining us. This is like I said, the relaunch of WD MagicCast. The show's going to be a little different. Like I said, it's here on YouTube. It's us right on your screens, not just our voices. And you can kind of see us, and the formatting will be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to these videos to this channel. This way you know whenever the new episodes are posted. And if you've not seen, we got some other stuff that I've posted up recently. Trips to New York, to Philadelphia. No, I didn't go to Philadelphia. No. New York. A couple times to New York Comic-Con, to WWE Holiday Tour Live. Trenton, I went to see Jeff Dunham. So there's been a bunch of travel videos of different sorts coming up that I've been putting on there. There's a little bit of lull at the moment because it's still the winter and I'm not traveling as much. But whenever things get a little better, try to get some more stuff out there for you guys because obviously you seem to like them. Mm-hmm. So make sure also to join our social networks where we're pretty much everywhere at WD MagicCast, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. We are all on there. Make sure again to subscribe there and check out our TeePublic shop where you can support the show through your generous purchases where you get something cool yourself. Dave, where we left off and we were just discussing before I realized that there was the snafu, the Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
Skeleton Crew. Yes, let's talk about Skeleton Crew.
Again, yes. So when last we left, Skeleton Crew had just started. So what was your overall opinion of Skeleton Crew?
Overall opinion of Skeleton Crew is I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like the fact that you did not have to delve into the lore of Star Wars. You didn't have to watch every episode of Clone Wars. You didn't have to watch every episode of Rebels. You didn't have to know really anything or any of the other characters. It's completely independent. It's completely its own little entity within the Star Wars. It still felt like Star Wars, but it wasn't bogged down by the lore of having to know everything else. If you didn't even know who Darth Vader was, that's okay. Mm-hmm. It was enjoyable. It was fun. The episodes I thought flowed quickly. I didn't feel like it was like they're 30-40 minute episodes, and I didn't feel like they were 2-hour episodes.
Yeah, no. These were perfectly paced for what we got. The 35-minute format, 8 episodes, I think. It was perfect. Anything longer or shorter, like this one, I didn't feel like I was ripped off on an episode. They were all pretty good, paced well. So.
Yeah, it was the show that I was looking forward to the least out of all the ones that whenever they did the announcement of everything that was coming. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't know about this. Jude Law, how is he going to really fit in? And Skeleton Crew and a bunch of kids. I mean, come on. Who's going to want to watch that?
Jude was the best part of it.
I thought he did great with it. The kids were great. I mean, a lot of people compared it to Goonies, the Goonie version of Star Wars. And yeah, but it worked. It absolutely worked. It was a lot of fun. You enjoyed the kids. You enjoyed their individual stories. The more that the show progressed, you found out more about each character, about the world that they were living in, for lack of better terms, but actually very appropriately. And that whole thing, it worked out great.
So your gut feeling is season 2, that they will make a season 2. God bless you.
It's live, people. Thank you. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a season 2. I would not see why not. I mean, there's the rumors of what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy. Will she or won't she be around towards the end of the year? That they're working on a successor for her.
Mm-hmm.
But from my understanding, Skeleton Crew did really well. So if it does really well, keep it rolling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you need to keep creating content for this, thing called Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And this obviously was well received. And how the season ended was it left it open enough to be able to run a season 2 without having to completely come up with something. There was enough little pieces left behind that you could easily bring things back or keep things moving along.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you despise the season ending,
you
can't completely like.
I enjoyed this series overall compared to previous stuff that they have released. They didn't stick the landing for me. However, I think it's because of that open ending thing. Because when you have a series that you hear nothing about a season 2, when you leave it kind of like that, you're like, well, if there's no season 2, then what was that all about? You know what I mean? There's no closure in a way. So that's the only reason why I had a problem with that. So if they have a season 2, then fine, then they could tie up everything in a nice little neat bow. But to be determined, I guess, if we do get a season 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to just quickly skim the news now to see if there is anything regarding a season 2, but I don't think that was been fully determined as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know Andor's coming out.
Well, I want to touch on Andor. I want to touch on Andor real quick before we move on to the main stuff.
Go right ahead.
So I'm sure you've heard we're getting 3. I think it's 3 episodes. So it's like a movie a week we're getting. So there's 12 episodes. We're getting 3 episode drops for 4 weeks. Are you a fan of that lineup?
No.
I know, because these are probably going to be 45-minute to an hour episodes, probably, just judging by season 1. So
and this is this is why I say that I have enough trouble sometimes watching 1 episode
exactly
to watch 3 episodes that are of size.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they were half an hour each, that's an hour and a half worth of television,
right?
That I have to try and figure out how to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end, I want to do a review of quick, let you know what my thoughts of Daredevil Born Again
mm-hmm.
are.
Yeah.
And by this time, this episode that you guys are watching now drops, 4 episodes of Daredevil will be out. I've seen 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I've made my way through episode 3, but I haven't been able
to get to the 4th one.
Well, not even get to the 4th one, but even finish the 3rd one.
Finish the 3rd one. Yeah.
For either the fact of stuff is going on or I fall asleep. Not that it's a boring show. I just, when you're watching at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes these things happen, especially when you get up at 4:30 in the morning. So
but the only good thing about the Andor drops like that is it's all going to, by the time you can get the stuff, it's all going to be out there then. So you can binge straight through it if you want. You know what I mean? At our rate. So in 4 weeks, we're probably just going to be on the episode 4, but the other 8 episodes are going to be there. So we don't have to worry about them coming out. That's the only positive thing.
This is true. This is like me watching Game of Thrones, and all you guys who watched it whatever in real time and complained about how long the last couple seasons took. And I go, I don't see the problem here because I just went right through it. I waited 2 years for this, and I had no problems. I just kept going straight through.
Yeah, I know you're
been watching it 7 years later.
Yeah, because I got, for Game of Thrones, I binged the first 5 seasons, and then I had to wait until season 6 came out, and then season 7 comes out. So yeah, and that was like in a year and a half to 2 years, I think, between seasons for that. So yeah, whatever.
But so Me personally, no, I'm not a huge fan of dropping that many episodes at once. Also, then it shortens the life of the series,
Mm-hmm. Nobody's really talking about it after that month. You
right?
know,
Because yeah, you get that and then the end date of the series is sooner.
exactly. You're not getting 3 months full of coverage. You're only getting a
No,
month.
yeah,
You know, so I don't know. We don't run Disney Plus or Lucasfilm, so
I'm
hey.
sure there's a reason. Um, Not that we know what that reason is, but someone's got a reason somewhere for something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I'm looking forward to that as well. It maybe with the time jump that stuff makes a little more sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my guesses because you are time jumping in that, so maybe those are blocks of okay, these episodes are together,
That's what I'm
these
thinking.
episodes are together.
I think they leap like I don't know if it's a year to 10 years or something. There's some kind of it can't be 10 years. That'll make them way too old. There's definitely a leap between each
Yeah,
block of three.
yeah, I forget what the exact formula is, but
Mm-hmm.
it is multiple years.
Yeah.
So we shall see. We shall see. But I'm looking forward to that one too because
Mm-hmm.
the trailers for that look very well done.
Yeah.
So, um, so one thing we want to discuss is the closing of certain attractions in Walt Disney World. We have Tough to Be a Bug just recently closed. Actually, I think it was today. We're recording this on St. Patrick's Day. So, let the shenanigans and the malarkey begin. Um, so Tough to Be a Bug. I was there when it officially opened,
Mm-hmm.
let's say. So it's kind of sad to see it go. I kind of understand it. I'm hoping for good things out of Zootopia. Um, so we shall see. It should be fun. It looks promising. So Tough to Be Bug is now officially a former attraction. Dinorama as well in Animal Kingdom because you got the whole thing in Dinoland USA is well slowly going away.
Mm-hmm.
So we've lost Dinorama section, which is the um northern half of Dinoland.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Chester Hester's Dinoland was, where the Triceratops spin, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the twirl and her, well, no, the different
I know
arcade
what you're talking
games.
about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the mouse coaster up there. So you got that section is now Wall City. Um, the Boneyard is guaranteed through the rest of this year, and same with Dinosaur. I believe Dinosaur is going to be the last phase of it when they go to convert that to Indiana Jones. And from what I'm hearing is that there will also be kind of some sort of obviously they're going to change the facade of the building outside, and that's going to be kind of they're looking at possibly a pyramid, like a Mayan
Okay.
pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
That will go there because it's going to be kind of a South American type of feel.
Yeah.
So you got that going on there.
Yeah, but unfortunately, when you want to bring new brands in, or if you want to keep people coming to the parks, you got to change stuff, get more modern stuff, new rides or whatever to get people to come to the park. Not that nobody's going, but you put a new IP there.
You got to freshen up.
Yeah.
Certain things were those attractions, having 2 hour waits and people, going, let's say when they get to Walt Disney World, oh, I need to get on Triceratops spin. Oh, I want to play the boardwalk games there.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is no. It was the same thing with Maelstrom. I loved Maelstrom.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
were people lining up for it? Were people saying when they got to Epcot, that's the first thing they had to go to?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Now it's Frozen. Is that the first thing people are running to? Yes. Is that one
Yeah.
of the things that people are saying? When I get to Epcot, I want to make sure I do Frozen ever after.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. So, you're getting the Encanto stuff, which the Encanto stuff is popular. So I'm curious to see what they do with it, how the whole thing goes. Supposedly there is going to be a tie-in with animals because you're going to into whatever the young brothers room.
Mm-hmm.
And which he's the one that communicates with animals, and so there's going to be that whole tie-in. So it's going to be an organic tie-in to Animal Kingdom's message,
Mm-hmm.
but with the Encanto theme. You'll have the music and bright colors, and it should be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not besmirching it. So
Have you heard anything about the Zootopia section? Is there, because which we're going to discuss in a little bit about the other things. Are there any attractions for Zootopia that they're plugging right now that they're going to have?
just the excuse me, showing the Tree of Life.
Okay.
I don't. What they're doing with a section for it at the conservation station, I don't think there's anything really concrete with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we just know there's going to be a Zootopia themed section. We just don't know what's really going to be there at this moment.
Possible. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
We'll see. And until it's actually, until stuff is, concrete is broken, permits are filed.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, also the last one, which can we have a moment of silence for the closing of Muppet Vision 3D?
Yeah. It's official now?
Oh, it's closed.
Yeah. Oh.
It closed a few weeks. It was a little while ago there, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was quite the turnout for it. So it's it will live on. They promised it will live on in some form or fashion. We just don't know exactly what.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure they closed it. Or is that coming next month?
Because usually I would see something on TikTok, because when Splash Mountain closed, there was all this stuff on social media for the last rides and all that stuff like that. But I didn't see nothing for the Muppets. But I'll take your word if it's closed.
Oh, sorry, June 7th.
June 7th. All right, it's still got a pulse. All right.
I guess yet. Sorry. That's what I get for not doing all the research ahead of time. June 7th, that will be closing. So, but still a moment of silence for that. It's going to live on in some form or fashion.
Right.
Unlike Tom Sawyer Island, we just don't know what they said. They're archiving everything because this is the last project Jim Henson actually touched and worked on and was involved in before his untimely passing. He actually passed during the production of this. Everything primary stuff has been shot. They had to do some background shooting. Go back to our episode with Jeff Lyons, and he would, you could see he talks about how this was all put together. But with closing stuff, we have stuff coming, and just recently we had the SXSW, the South by Southwest convention, where Disney revealed some of the stuff, attraction things that they're working on. Like for instance, we got the which going away with Muppets, transitioning to Monsters, which is taking over that little section of Hollywood Studios in Florida. The Monsters Inc. door coaster, they showed the load system, which you walk in kind of like you do with soaring onto, the seats are all lined up in a row, left to right, everyone, lines up. You sit down, the coaster, strapped in, you lift up, seats rotate.
Yep.
And then car takes off.
Yeah, it's like they said, it's the first one, I guess, that it connects you up, lifts you up to the top rack, and then you just you take off. Yeah, so it looks.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be sharp. So I'm gonna assume Peter Pan is a lesser thing, but the Peter Pan one, you're kind of hanging from the ceiling as well, correct?
In that aspect, it's just like Peter Pan, except Peter Pan's a dark ride, not a roller coaster,
right.
But you just you go in sideways to get into those. This you're going forward facing, and then you turn and sit down like you would in a normal chair, and then the chair rotates to the position that you need to be in.
And I would assume it's going to go a lot faster than Peter Pan.
That too. is what is the first suspended roller coaster at a Disney property park. So think here in Great Adventure, like the Batman ride.
Yep.
Yeah. But the Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. So it's going to be that type of coaster where you're suspended, or the Bear at Hershey Park, in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But like the load mechanism is going to be very different, and like you said, the track, you're at ground level, and instead of going up a hill, the whole thing gets lifted up.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to. I mean, I was looking forward to it before we got this information, but now seeing how it loads,
that should be pretty cool. And people have been wanting the store coaster for a while.
Yeah.
Going over to Muppets, you have the Muppets Takeover Rock and Roller Coaster, which we don't have any information beyond that.
Yes.
But what we do have more information on is the Cars attraction coming to the Magic Kingdom, which will be taking over Tom Sawyer and the Rivers of America. Many people are upset about the disappearing of the Rivers of America, but if you want to stick in 2 new lands into the park, because you have the Villains Land coming in behind that, you need to rework the landscape. And how many people are honestly lining up to go to Tom Sawyer Island? Nostalgic. Yeah, it's great. I have memories of going there. I haven't been there since 1987, maybe.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah. It was just there.
Yeah.
2 decades ago. Oh gosh, no, it's longer than 2 decades now, isn't it? Oh my gosh, we're getting old.
That's almost 4 decades ago, buddy.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
So we would, so I mean, again, you're not really, you're losing on something nostalgic, but you're not losing on something that is, again, drawing people in.
Right.
The Cars attraction is going to be an off-road vehicle. They showed the vehicle that they're going to be planning on using. The thing with the video that they showed that you don't realize and you don't see in the concept art is that these vehicles will be on a track. They're not trackless vehicles.
Okay.
So they will be guided on the track, but these are they're not ATVs exactly. But they're kind of like they're like a
dune buggy or something.
I guess that's kind of the best thing to do. Great suspension, so you're going to feel the off-roading, but I don't think it's going to be so much of a sway to give anyone sick or nauseous. What they're going to do for the weather-wise, who knows?
Yeah,
because it does rain in Florida every day.
Well, it might be like Test Track, you know what I mean, where you got to wait until the system's passed before they reopen it. That's
a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully not the case, but it's always a possibility.
Right.
But what do you think about it? That's, Big Thunder Mountain is outside pretty much entirely as well, which is closed down for the time being. They're completely reworking the track for that, which isn't by coincidence that they're starting the project for Cars, alongside with all that stuff too. Then you also have, I guess we'll go over to Disneyland, talk about the Iron Man flight experience, which that also seems like a very interesting ride vehicle where you're in a seat. I think it looks like 2 people in a seat.
Yeah, it looked like duo. Yeah, duo. Yeah.
Yeah, and it falls along a track, and at some point, a giant mechanical arm attaches to the back of your vehicle and lifts you off the track, and you do flight maneuvers like Iron Man.
Right.
In the middle of this.
Right. And what was weird is
puts you back down on the track.
I looked because they have the Iron Man experience in Hong Kong. So I went on
Nothing
YouTube.
like it.
I looked on YouTube and I'm like, that was like Star Tours or whatever. You know what I mean? Where you're in you're in a theater and
That's exactly what it is in Hong Kong.
And I'm like, this is nothing like that. So
this is nothing like it. This is completely bonkers and different. Yeah. And I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Too bad we got to fly across the country to go see it.
One day, Dave, we shall make this pilgrimage. Yeah. And we'll post the videos for it. And we'll be better off for it.
Yeah. But no, it looks, in theory, it looks cool. I wouldn't mind going on it,
No, I think it's creative. I mean, we'll have to see how story-wise and elements this all plays out. But just the concept alone, I think, is creative. It's different. It looks like it could be a lot of fun, and it kind of gives you the thrill seekers what they're looking for. It's not. Hopefully, it's not going to be like a Mission Space, with the forces and the movements and everything. This is probably going to be thinking a lot smoother than that. So, but we shall see.
Well, generally, the newer rides, the newer coasters are a lot smoother than rides of old, or sometimes you get them old rickety like wooden coasters that you get whiplash on.
Yeah.
So, but
what are you talking about?
El Toro? Anybody?
El Toro is actually a relatively newer coaster.
Yeah, it is, but it's wooden, man. Something about a wooden roller coaster that doesn't bode well for me, anyway.
It's because you're old.
Yes, this is true. I know. Stay in my lane.
Yeah. Speaking of newer vehicles, something that will have a old vehicle but is getting a new story to it is Smuggler's Run.
Yes.
Which will have a Mandalorian and Grogu shift to it, which I think they had a nice little video of the Mandalorian walking around the outside of the Millennium Falcon at Galaxy's Edge. You go, nice ship.
Yeah. Yep.
So I thought that was a nice little touch. So they're changing out the mission to it looks like there's going to be a variety of places that you either visit or you will have the option of going to. I wasn't quite certain that there's the wreckage of the Death Star. There's Bespin. There's a couple of different places that you'd go to. Cloud City, I think.
Again, so it's a smart move. It gets people there, and it keeps it current. It keeps it new. And so it keeps one. Got to keep going on. If there's 3 different scenes, I want to see all 3. So. And
I think that would be the smart way, and I don't see why they couldn't do something like that, where each time is a different. Or you have the potential of going to a different mission.
Right. Well, they did that with Star Tours, so it's like keep it fresh. Yeah.
Basically the same. Simulator. And then you got Mandalorian to pull you in. I hope they keep Hondo somehow attached to him, because that Hondo animatronic was fantastic.
Yeah.
But the more interesting part is that this is the only one they gave a specific timeline and date for.
Yeah.
And that's May 22nd, 2026, which isn't a coincidence. It actually ties in specifically to Dave.
The release date of the Mandalorian Grogu movie?
The release date of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. What are the chances?
Wow. Advertising, baby. Marketing.
Synergy at its best. And to tie that even more so, that Disneyland, and I don't think I think they said Disney World too. Disneyland and Disney World will be getting the BDX droids walking around Galaxy's Edge that are also using the same BDX droids that will be seen in which movie, Dave?
The Mandalorian Grogu movie.
The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. They will be using the actual droids. We saw them test them in California several months ago, last year, I think.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, look at these. And then we never saw them again. Okay, so they're actually going to be movie used. I don't think necessarily those are the ones that are going to be walking around the parks.
Yeah.
But they will have those droids walking around in the parks as well, which I'm sure you'll be able to conveniently get merchandise of at the droid depot.
Again, smart marketing.
It's brilliant.
Take my money.
You have anything more to say about those, Dave?
No. Looking forward to any and all of it. Obviously, it's not like it's all going to be done around the corner. We got to be patient and wait for it all to come out. But
we got, besides Smuggler's Run, a lot of this stuff will be 27, 28. This stuff is going to be in time, in quite some time. Mm-hmm. But at least we're getting some information. We're getting, it is in the works. Yeah. Unlike when they first announced the Pie in the Sky project of Villain Land, where it's like, oh, well, we're concepting this. They do this. And it's just like, great. What are you actually working on? And then they announced, yes, we are bringing Villain's Land to the Magic Kingdom, beyond the berm. And it's like, great. Okay. Like, what else is going on? So now we got some balls rolling of what is coming to specifically Disney World, but some stuff for Disneyland as well, because there's the whole Beyond Disneyland project that's going on there as well. And we don't know exactly what's happening with that. So there's a lot of promised things that we're starting to get snippets on it, but unfortunately that's how it begins. Yeah. It begins with the idea, and then we start getting, okay, here's the concept, here's kind of what you can expect. You just have to bear with us.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with all the movie projects that they said that they were going to release. How many of the movies that they said were going to get released never got released, or are just in limbo, not
coming back and not coming out. That has been officially shelved. They're looking to possibly do a holiday special of some sort. But these things happen. But like we were talking beforehand, a lot of the stuff they switched from. Armor Wars was supposed to be a Disney Plus series, is now getting a full movie treatment. And that makes sense instead of putting a long format thing on Disney Plus, where you're getting views and eyeballs, but how does that translate to profit? Are you getting new subscribers for it? Right. Versus releasing in a theater, every person seeing that is a dollar value, and you could, like Moana 2 was supposed to be a limited run series on Disney Plus. They combined it to make it into a movie, and they made over $1 billion. Would that happen on Disney Plus in any format? No. So it makes more sense to release into theaters, make $1 billion off of it, or $1 billion minus the production value of it, which is still a lot of money, and then release it onto Disney Plus. Which gets people, oh, it's on Disney Plus now, I can watch it there. Yep. And then you pull in the people to subscribers on the back end. So to me, that's a smarter business strategy.
Hence the Mandalorian Grogu movie.
Hence the Mandalorian and Grogu. And if you haven't started a drinking game yet with this, folks, speaking of series on there, Daredevil Born Again, which started a few weeks ago. Like I said, by the time this episode drops on for you guys to pay attention to and watch, we'll be at least 4 episodes in. I have enjoyed the first 2. I watched the first 2 seasons of the original Netflix series that this was based off of. Like that, with the one critique of a lot of times some of the action scenes were dark to the point that I had trouble of understanding which shadow was which character.
That's what a lot of new stuff, though, with the way they film in the dark with the blacks and stuff.
This is like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, again, we're getting off topic, but like the Game of Thrones, one of the finale season 7 episodes, their battle was in complete black. You couldn't see anything.
No. And that was some of the Daredevil stuff. What I've seen so far of Born Again is not like that. It opens up with an action scene that you can clearly see which character is which as they're running about fighting each other.
Right.
In any of the action scenes I've seen so far, or any of the stuff that I've seen so far with this, they've fixed that problem. My one concern so far, again, only 2 episodes in, is that you witness the Daredevil character at the beginning of the first episode, and for reasons I'm not going to say, you haven't seen him again since. And I hope it's not one of those that he shows up the second to last episode.
Oh, one of those. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hoping they don't do that, because there's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the story arc of Matt Murdock's transition of going back to his alternate persona.
Okay.
There's a reason he steps away from it, and now you're getting reasons of why he should go back to it.
Yeah. That's one series I have not delved into yet. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Which I'm very surprised, because to me that's a very you series.
And it sounds like it is.
It's dark. It's gritty. It is not for kids.
Right.
The Netflix one is pretty brutal.
Okay.
This so far hasn't really shied away from that.
Right. Well, once I get through the Penguin, I'll switch over to Daredevil.
I've watched 3 or 4 episodes of that. That's been pretty good too.
Yeah.
Kind of along that vein, where it is a lot of prose, it's a lot of storytelling and narrative.
Yeah.
And then you do get some action in there.
Yeah. I compare it to the Sopranos. It's the Soprano-esque kind of Gotham show.
Yeah. That's exactly what the Penguin is.
Yeah.
You go figure, it's HBO.
Yeah.
So far Daredevil I've thoroughly enjoyed. If you can handle a slightly more mature comic book series, particularly in the some of the violence end, like you see a guy's arm getting snapped in half.
I can
So it is a little visceral, and they use a little more adult, colorful language.
Mm-hmm.
If you can handle that, then I think you would enjoy this series. Particularly if you're a fan of the Netflix series, then this picks up, and it's the same cast. Charlie Cox is playing Matt Murdock. D'Onofrio is playing Kingpin. The Page and Foggy Karen Page and Foggy are the same actors. They brought them back too. So Josie, the bartender, same one. So you have a lot of the same cast returning to their roles, which I think was very smart on their part.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just kind of keep going from there. It's like, okay, several years in the future from where you left off on the Netflix series. Well, here we are now. Here's where the world is. All right, let's go. So, so far no complaints.
Yeah. Kind of like how we went from one episode to another episode. Here we are.
Exactly. And here we are.
Picked up like nothing ever left.
And on that note, anything else, Dave?
Nah, I'm good, bud.
All right. Thanks again for joining us, everybody, and welcome to the new version of WD Magic Cast. We're broadening the scope of things that we'll be talking about as well. If you have any suggestions, any topics that you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments below. Again, make sure to subscribe. Make sure you liked this episode, and we'll be seeing you soon. And as Walt Disney said, I believe in being an innovator. Again, that's Walt Disney. And again, thank you. And I'll see you next time.
See ya.